Minister, your response.
Realizing the seriousness of the crisis threatening livelihood of people in St. Martin, I have been informed and requested to look for other option for financing, for investment in GEBE, and I assume my responsibility, and I approached the BZK and asked them if they are willing to discuss a loan, and they were willing to, and then I gave that information to GEBE, and now we are so far that we are waiting on approval, because GEB is not able at this particular moment, the way I am informed, that they're going to get through with the consortium group of bankers and insurance companies to get the $42 million for investment for GEBE. Okay. Question 2. I had it about this, yes. Okay. Statement. Okay. What is the company used for the 10 megawatt generators? Which company was used for the 10 megawatt generators? As presented in Parliament on June the 25th, 2024, the 10 megawatt generators were rented from So Energy International. What date was the agreement for this 10 megawatt generator signed? And what was the price? The overall cost for the rental of the generators was $1,942,150. The question 6 is, what company was used for the 20 generators that just recently arrived? When was that contract signed? Who purchased, paid for them, and how, and for how much? As was also presented to Parliament on June the 25th, 2024, the 20 megawatt generator were purchased by GEBE themselves with a 3-year lease-to-own contract from CMEC. The cost of this contract was $7,723,000. This is a statement. MP Brug. GB, all of us are a victim of GB. Whoever is sitting needs to address the issues. Glad to hear that it's a backup, and MP hopes government is looking into another solution. Has government received an alternative option, or was an alternative solution brought forward even from within government? At this moment, the intention is to proceed with the backup plan, realizing that GB is not getting through with the negotiations with the consortium group. And that is in the case that we sit now and discuss the conditions for the loan. For clarity's sake, no discussions about the condition for the loan has been discussed until now. It's only the question if they are willing to. They said they are. Seeing the urgency and the threat from the national crisis, the State Secretary asked me to, in the meantime, accommodate it in the CAPEX, and he will accommodate it in his budget. The fact that it's in the CAPEX doesn't mean that we have to make use of it, because we have to get to an agreement first for the loan conditions for this $42 million. MP La Cruz, why are we purchasing generators with LNG if there is no plan to run these generators on LNG? The generators that are being manufactured now have the option automatically that you can run them also on LNG. It is not that you can order it separately. As I understood, these generators are also possible to be run on LNG. MP Roseburg, looking at relief for the people of St. Martin, electricity is our basic right, but people cannot enjoy it. Some kind of relief then needs to be provided. Government is in agreement with this relief, of course, that we realize is necessary. However, government considers that it should be a sustainable proposal and not something for the short term, which in the long term can have a negative effect on GEBE. So you have to realize whatever decision you take with a GEBE that is actually confronting its challenges, you have to be careful what the financial impact will be if a decision is taken. As for example, in the past, we took away 43 million from GEBE because we had to accommodate something else. And now we are paying the price that we did not invest on time and accordingly for GEBE, getting ourselves in more problems. So we have to be careful with decisions that we take because we have to really consider the sustainability financially also from GEBE. Furthermore, the proposal from MP Roseburg was sent to GB for their input, of course. I have received some input, but this still needs to be discussed. Therefore, I will provide a response to the letter from MP Roseburg in the coming weeks. I also would like to remind Parliament of the meeting that will be held with stakeholders involved in the fuel clause, so we can have a discussion on the components in the fuel clause and see if we can mitigate those components in a way that it can have a positive effect for the consumer. MP Doran, housing project being cancelled. Prime Minister said cancelled in April 2024. And Minister Vromi mentioned April 2023. Need some clarity for government when the project was cancelled. Was it April 2023 or April 2024? Can Parliament be provided with documentation that the project was cancelled? If it was cancelled or not, let Parliament know what can be done to see the project come to fruition. I can refer the Minister to my answer as mentioned in the report of the Central Committee meeting on page 56, where I refer to an internal document of a steering committee meeting held on April 2024. My answer to that question was that the decision was taken in April 2024. As I review the report, I notice on page 53 that the Minister of Romi also mentioned April 2024. So we can conclude that the decision was made in April 2024. Madam President, these are the answers to the questions for the Minister of General Affairs.
Thank you, Minister, for those responses to questions relating to the Ministry of General Affairs. The members of Parliament now have the opportunity to ask any clarification question. I see MP Irian requesting such. MP Irian, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, thank you. Madam President, thank you. I asked a question during the interruption, and I realized that the Prime Minister just dodged the question or refused to answer the question, so I asked the question again during the clarification, because the Prime Minister mentioned that when he was here in the CC, through you, Madam President, that GB failed to secure financing through the consortium. That's what he mentioned in the CC. Today, verbatim, the Prime Minister says, probably GB realized that they were not able to get the financing. Probably. That's not an answer. It's in direct contradiction to what he said a week or 2 weeks ago, Madam Chair. So what is it? Did GB fail to get the financing to the consortium? And then you said, after that, Madam President, through you, the Prime Minister mentioned the way he is informed that they were not able to. So my question would then be, is the Prime Minister only communicating with GB, or is the rest of the Council of Ministers also getting this information? Because the Prime Minister mentions the way he is informed. So how exactly are you informed, Prime Minister, through you, Madam President? How are you informed? Is it through the board? Has the board told you that we have not been able to successfully get financing to the consortium, so please continue with your plans? That would then also mean that we're not at plan B. That means we're at, because then there's no plan A. If that's the case, because when the meeting started today, the Minister of Finance said, and it was repeated by MP Heliga Martin, I think MP Heliga Martin even did an interruption and said that this is a plan B. But that's a clear contradiction to what you are mentioning through you, Madam President. There is no plan A, that means. Because if you're indicating now that GB is saying we cannot get financing, there's no other plan. That means the only plan there is now is the plan now through the budget. We can't have both. And then again, for clarity, the Prime Minister mentioned arranging the funds. So I'd like to be clear. Did GB get an arranger for the consortium, or was GB acting as the arranger? I want to be clear on that, because the answers were not clear. So did GB find a third party, let me be very clear, arranger, which typically happens in high financing deals, or was GB acting as their own arranger to get the financing? The Prime Minister also mentioned that GB said they are very confident by the third quarter they'll be able to secure the financing. Currently, we're now into the fourth quarter, so that has passed. So that means by the end of the third quarter, they would have to come back at some point in time and say, officially, again, through, I'm assuming a shareholders meeting or through the board that, hey, we are not able to get the financing. I also asked in one of my questions that was not answered, did GB board request officially to the government for the government to go and get financing from the Netherlands? You mentioned a backup plan. A backup plan means that if I don't get through. So that means a subsequent meeting, email, letter, discussion had to happen for you to trigger going to the backup plan B, which means that is just one plan we have there. This, what we're approving today, is not a backup plan. It is the plan because GB does not have another option. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Erin. MP Otley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, as a member of Parliament, you expect that specific questions be answered, or even you be respected